Oh, thank you, yeah, thank you. Well, it's Colin here, bloody again here. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm recapping on about 49, 51 videos. We sort of need to recap and sort of see where we're going, rather than keep on going, especially with new stuff. Most of it's new. Recap and see where we are, and it's good to recap all the time, actually, even when you are actually doing something. You're putting on something for a start. You still need to keep recapping, actually, kind of keep it moving. But on the other hand, if I was to put on a video and then the very next video I was to put on, say, 85% of what I put on the previous video, then that's going too far the other way, and people give up. In fact, they get pissed off altogether, even if it's the first time. And so it's a matter of balancing, but we still need to recap. Now, on this video, I want to have a look at the sex problems we're having in New Zealand here. Now, the answer to it, up to a point, is to be able to go stark naked in the street. Now, this will bring suicides down. This will bring people much happier. New Zealand will become the greatest nation, the most happiest nation in the world, I would say, because they're so happy. Be able to go naked and be free. And you can fuck anywhere you like. And if you're on orthomolecular medicine too, you don't have to worry about gonorrhea or syphilis and that, but that's another story. We can't deviate too much here. And then you've got, they can shop naked and fuck anywhere, as long as they're not, say, the legs dangling over the road and sort of blocking the pathway sort of thing. But generally speaking, that you'll find that it would be a very good thing to do, and it might dissolve the problems with womanhood. A lot of womanhood have got problems with sex. Well, men have too, but they're different. Men are more dumb than anything. Two major problems with men is, one, they're dumb. As I've said before, I can imagine womanhood saying about men, "Oh, men, they're so dumb. They don't know what's going on, and dumb they are." But men also twist things. For example, I was reading of a judge on the bench in the paper, he was up for using his 13-year-old girl, I think, for paying money or something like that. I didn't have it on me. Now, I'm not saying that in his particular case he did, but if he was judging somebody on the same topic, he'd quite likely give the person higher sentencing than the normal, because there's a cover-up for his own problems. Now, I'm not saying anything for him using his 13-year-old, or I'm not saying anything against it. I'm neutral on that. I'm just not saying anything for or against him doing that. I'm just simply saying that when judges on the bench have got the same problem, they'll cover up, they'll twist it and give the guy a higher sentencing. Well, for example, look at it this way. As I mentioned once before in a video, a guy was talking to me and he told me that he wanted to get into prison. To attack a guy in prison on a sex matter. Now, I can't remember if he meant or if he said that he was going to attack him physically or what, but he wanted to get in to have a go at this guy on sex matters. Now, why did he want to do that for? If he did want to do that, something like that, why didn't he do it for murderers? but he wouldn't even do it for a hyper attacker. I'm going to attack these, what do they call them, hyper, I just didn't have it on me. The ones that use computers and upset computers and then want a cyber attack, is it? And so they cyber attack a company to get money, you know. Now, if one of those were in prison and he did it to a hospital, because that's what happened up north, somewhere around Whangarei or somewhere in New Zealand here, they what they did, they cyber attacked, or one cyber attacked a hospital. Now, that's a very low thing in my estimations to choose a hospital. I mean, that's a place where people are getting well, and you go and cyber attack a hospital. I mean, that's a low thing to do in my estimations. It'd be different if they cyber attack, say Bill Gates or something like that. Well, that'd be different. Still a bad thing to do, but at least not as serious as a cyber attack on a hospital. So supposing they got that cyber attacker, put him in jail, and this guy knew that he was a cyber attacker in relation to a hospital. He wouldn't want to attack him either. He wouldn't want to attack somebody that chopped off somebody's arms or something like that, and chopped off both their arms and both their legs and just left them with nothing. And he got, say, 18 and a half years for that. And incidentally, a guy wanted to fuck a few women, they want to give him 25 years. Oh. But anyway, I won't get onto that side at the moment. But we'll look at this guy now. He wanted to get into prison to attack this guy on some sex matter. So why did he do that over and above a cyber attack at a hospital, which he wouldn't do because it wasn't in at that time? I don't think that was some years ago. But he wouldn't sit and do it for murderers or for manslaughter or other bad things. He just sex. So it seems to me that why he did that is a cover for his own sex problems, the psychology of it. And so this is probably why dumb, stupid judges on the bench give a high amount for an offence, a thing or something on sex usually, to cover up for their own problems in that line, psychology of it. See, just recently we've had this guy in the Cuba Mall in Wellington here. Several months ago he got 7 years in prison for kissing a few women and that in the street. And then they said, oh, he's a mentally ill man and he's gone past the third strike. And then just recently I read in the paper again where they're still not up for parole. Still have to get 7 years because apparently there's a few people who have been complaining that it's excessive amount to get for jail for kissing a few women. So I figured things out and I thought, well, maybe the problem is that the authorities are afraid that this cunt might start kissing a few tourists. Now, I don't know about tourists at the moment because this COVID-19 was in at the time, I think, when he was arrested. They got him on, give him the 7 years. That was, I think, while this virus 19 was here, before Delta. Now, it seems to me that they're frightened that he might start kissing a few tourists and make it bad for Wellington, or even anybody out of Wellington, women coming to Wellington, and give a bad name for Wellington. That's the sort of thing that's liable to be involved, because it does seem incredible, whatever you name it, kissing a few women for and getting 7 years for it. Goodness, I thought it was bad enough that a taxi driver in Wellington, he got 9 months for kissing a passenger. Now, even the Twisted Molecules, the very bad cases with womanhood, even they said it was too much. And that was just 9 months. Now this poor cunt, he gets 7 years. And so there's something that doesn't measure up here. Why didn't they help the poor cunt with his problem? Why didn't they go to this lady and ask, well, look, this poor cunt, he's got 7 years. I wondered if you could help the poor cunt because he's got 7 years just to kiss him. He doesn't done anything wrong. He just heard the call and he's obeying the call. He just needs somebody. They just didn't know him. Like if you had known this poor cunt, you wouldn't have got the police on him. If you had known him on the job or something like that. So it's not fair that because you don't know him, he gets 7 years, and when you do know him, it's not a problem. So they could have gone that, or they could have gone up the Cuban Wall, a policeman, and saw a woman that might be suitable and say, oh, excuse me, ma'am, constable, we have this poor cunt here, he kissing a woman and somebody's complaining, and we're looking for a woman to look after the poor cunt. I was wondering if you could know of anybody, because he's prepared to go halves with the electricity, halves with the phone, halves with the rent, and half for the food. He's willing, if you get somebody that kiss him on the lips and help the poor cunt, otherwise they're giving the poor cunt, they're going to give the poor cunt 7 years or something like that. So you see, there's something wrong here. And then I was reading of this man, he killed this 5-year-old girl on the footpath or somewhere. I didn't bring it with me actually. This cutting. He killed this 5-year-old girl right in front of her mother. She was ahead of the mother, and the poor mother, when she closes her eyes now, she sees her dead child now. And so he killed this girl, 5-year-old girl, and all he got for it was, for a start, there was 3 things he got. He got 20 hours community service. Now, in my estimations, it's such a joke. I mean, best to give him nothing in that line of community service. Best to give him nothing than to just give him 20 hours. I mean, you might expect that for somebody running up an escalator coming down, and so the judge sort of says, oh, well, you're a bit in danger to yourself. Actually, I wouldn't mind doing it myself, actually. So this is the judge talking. To be honest, I wouldn't mind having a go at that myself, but can't very well. It's just sort of a minor offence, really, in a way, but it could be dangerous. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just give you your 20 hours community service, and so you just clean that up. And so just watch that, and just in case you might injure yourself or saw somebody else or something like that. You know, well, that's what you'd expect for running up escalators coming down, 20 hours. But I mean, in my estimations, best to give them no community service than to give them just 20 hours. Because there's 2 more things to come. But, I mean, to give them 20, I mean, you had to give them 1,000 hours or 2,000 hours, well, that'd be a bit more understandable. But 20 hours, I figured, well, it's just a waste. It's just give him nothing in that line. So anyway, the second one he gave him was 1 year for his licence. He wasn't allowed to drive for 1 year. 1 year, that means from 1 year from now, he's ready to go again to kill somebody else. I bet if he's put off the road altogether, say you're off the road altogether, you've killed somebody, you can't allow to go on the road again. That'd be a better idea, take the licence off him altogether. And he's going to be okay. It'd be good if he could do some walking and get some exercise instead of going in the car all the time. He's got the bus, he could maybe have a friend to take him somewhere. It's not going to bother him. It'd be overall better for him to get some exercise, do some walking. And so that's that one. And then the third one he got was sort of seemingly significant, is that he got 30,000 reparation dollars he had to pay. Now, I don't know if he's going to get the money, but that in itself is nothing either. I'll tell you why, because, you see, he's still going to live in the same house. They're not going to kick him out of the house and put him out in the cold because he has to pay the rent money has to go now towards, and you go out in the cold sort of thing. No, you're still in the same house. You're still going to eat the same amount of food. They're not going to say, oh, you've got to even give up one meal a day. No, you carry on just the same lifestyle as what he's doing. So the 30,000, they're not going to take that out of his rent, and they're not going to take it out on his food. But this car, he said, so if it was his car, there doesn't seem to be any interest there that he's going to sell his car to pay the 30,000. So unless he's got 30,000 in the bank, which could be probably unlikely, or he could do, well, if they drew it all out then and paid the fee, well, that'd be at least something. But even then, he's still got off scot-free. I mean, he's still the same man, no imprisonment, not even one day. Once he does his 20 hours, he could do that in a week. That's nothing. Car, he doesn't need a car. And the 30,000, well, if he lost that in the bank, well, better than getting 7 years, like this poor cunt got for kissing woman. 7 years. So the whole thing doesn't make sense to me. As I say, it's more in the line probably that they're frightened that he might kiss a few strangers. Strange women would be bad for Wellington, but they can't do that legally, so they twisted it and said, oh, he broke the third strike. But the third strike is just for criminals that say burgle houses or punch somebody to death or whatever, or something like that, and he was in the wrong. Something serious, not the third strike, not for some poor cunt that hears the call and just, because the woman just didn't happen to know him. Well, that's not fair that he should get 7 years because they didn't happen to know the poor cunt, and he gets and he get nothing if they knew him. If they knew him, if he worked with him and said, oh, Bill, I'll see it. Well, they know the poor cunt, So anyway, so that's that I wanted to point out to about sex. I mentioned that before. Now let's have a look now at so that's the problem with men, is that no, we're actually not on sex at the moment, are we? We're on something other. I brought that in because men twist things. That's right. They twist things. Well, that's not a personal twist. So I don't know why I actually got onto that particular one. Oh, there was a sex matter. That's right. Yeah, kissing a woman. That's right. Kissing a few women. And he's not a hypocrite, because if women kissed him, he'd be overjoyed. So he's not a hypocrite. At least if he said, oh, I don't like women kissing me, I'll kiss women, and complain to the police about them. Imagine if they got 7 years. Can you imagine a woman getting 7 years for kissing a guy and a guy complains? You think they give and she was up before for kissing me, because he was up before, wasn't the first time. But I don't know, it just doesn't make sense that New Zealand seems to me to be sort of a country for the mentally retarded, as far as I'm concerned. New Zealand, something wrong. It needs a solid shake-up. So anyway, did I mention that that it'd be good if we walked naked, and then a lot of this problem would be dissolved, and suicides would go down quite dramatically, I would say. People would be so happy. As I mentioned to you in one of my videos, that a sexologist wrote up this article, and one thing he said in the article was, he said, those that enjoyed a walk in the raw were usually easygoing. And if you're going to suppress something, especially that's natural, you're going to have trouble. If you're going to have New Zealand, say, starving country, or a lot of people that are starving for food, sort of thing they might do is push a little girl over. She's with her lunch basket, push a little girl over, she's on the way to school, and grab the lunch basket and wolf the food down as he runs away. Well, I've forgotten now what I was going to use that as an illustration about. Now, something I was going to say about that, or maybe you could pick it up yourself from where I was. If I get deviated, I sometimes lose what I was talking about. Something. It was a hunger, was it? A hunger for food or something. Anyway, never mind. We'll carry on. So, So if they get sex properly, they're okay. But if they're not getting sex is a hunger like food, and it's a very important thing. Nudity is very important. And as far as their children are concerned, you might have someone concerned about their children. But there are families that go into nudist clubs and the whole family goes nude, and there's other nude families and nude guys around in a nudist club. So where's the problem? She's going to see nude men about. The thing that they're bloody afraid about nude men, I think, over and above nude women, is that a nude woman hasn't got anything to put into their young kids. That's the main thing they're concerned about men, is they'll stick his weapon into their young kids, little girls. That's all they're bloody afraid about. For example, supposing, say, that you had a woman that was looking after, say, 2 or 3 girls, say, or a couple of girls and a boy or something, babysitting for this woman. So anyway, the mother came home and found the woman babysitter in a little lesbian relationship with the daughter who that she was babysitting for. So when the babysitter saw the mother came in and saw, she started to giggle. Then in some cases, it wouldn't be long before the mother started to giggle, and both the mother and the babysitter could end up in a lesbian relationship, a lesbian time at that particular time. You see the difference there. You see a woman naked, or she could be naked actually, and when the mother came home, and or something like that. It's different because a woman hasn't got anything to put into the young kids. That's all they're afraid about a male. So we're looking then about, look at the time, that's about 25 minutes. Time flies on these videos. So I'm trying to stress the importance of the sex problems in New Zealand. You see, one thing I think, so we've covered men now. Men are dumb and they twist things. If they're a problem by something, they'll give the guy on the bench more, quite likely, not in every case, but more. There's something wrong with this guy getting 7 years imprisonment for kissing a few women. And on his second parole, they still won't take any notice on the second parole. There's something wrong somewhere, something that doesn't measure up here. You could go through all sorts of things. Wouldn't even get 7 years for. I was reading of a woman, teenage girl. She killed a child or something. She killed somebody, and all she got was about a couple of years. Killed somebody 2 years, and this kisser guy gets 7 years. As I said, when they help the poor cunt, he hasn't committed anything wrong. The police should have a body of people for these kind of certain, like for say, criminals. They could have certain people involved to sort the criminal out, see why does he burgle houses, or be nice to him and give him coffee and tea and just have a chat with him. Not the police, but say a psychologist, or not necessarily a psychologist, a team worker, what do they call them, workers that can help people, and discuss with them why, and so on. But particularly people like sex, when he's just trying to make things work for himself. I mean, as I mentioned about Rolf Harris and Mike Tyson and that other one, I didn't bring my facts with me. There's that dark guy in the United States. He was a similar actor to I didn't expect to bring this one up. He's a similar actor to Rolf Harris. I've forgotten his name now. Didn't bring it with me. And he got in prison too. It was dumb men that put them in prison. Womanhood don't have to do anything. They just have to let dumb men do it for them. So we're looking now. I want to just look about womanhood here. I've got a balance here. You see, I've got a balance with dumb men, and I'm not blaming all womanhood, nor I'm blaming all men. And besides that, you can't put all womanhood or men on 0.86. You can't say all women are on 0.86. No, one might be on 0.28, another one might be on 0.5, another one might be 0.168, another one might be way out on about 564 or something. You can't put all women in the same point, that all women are on 0.86 or men are on 0.86. But generally speaking, it seems to me, it's just come to me lately, that womanhood have been spoiled because they've got the law on their side and they know what they're doing in the street with their tit shows and that they know all about that. They know all about sex. They get men wrapped up on sex before he's even thought about it. And because they've got them on their side, they even give them money for this so-called rape thing. Goodness me, what happened if women raped men? They could rape them every day of every day, in supermarkets, in their own houses, burst in on a guy and put him down on the floor. Because a lot of them, some of them, they wouldn't be able to get it up. Some guys wouldn't be able to get it up. Or even if they normally could, if they were taken by surprise, they might. So she might have to start kissing him and that and working on him. And but the ones that can get it up, so they could do that, then if we got it up all right. So this went on, say, for 10 years. You might not have one solitary guy in 10 years complaining about the so-called rape thing. They've hoodwinked all men about it, and they've done it with such ease, they just can't believe how dumb men can be. So what's happening with womanhood is they've been spoiled. And I've just found out today on the smartphone that was what I suspected it to be, is that a spoiled child is a moody child, and I got it here, yeah. A spoiled child is a moody child, lack of control, more prone to anxiety and depression. And just as I suspected, that follows up when they're adulthood. They also the same. It comes out exactly the same in their adulthood from when they're spoiled. They want their own way and moody people so if you find a woman that's like that, she could have been spoiled as a baby. And so because they've been spoiled on sex, is what makes them moody in that. Because they've got everything. I mean, women can get away with all sorts of things. Like poor Rolf Harris there. He had all these girls kissing him and that over the years, or hugging him and drooping their bloody tits at him. And well, what do you expect the poor cunt to do after all these years? And finally he got stroking some woman's thigh. What the hell do they expect? And poking their thigh. And a few other girls stood up and complained, but most of the women didn't complain, only about hardly 1%. So why didn't the police say to those 1%, well, look, you're not allowed to go along to Rolf Harris's meeting anymore now. Finish with you now. And what do you expect the poor cunt to do? You droop your throat. Look at the fucking tit you're showing here now. Don't give me that fucking shit. Doesn't mean anything, kid. Put you in there and sort of strip her off and naked and push her on the street and say, go and walk naked and be done with it. This is the police do this. This is the sort of thing they need. See, they've been spoiled, you see, and they get their own way, and that's why a lot of them are moody, and that in adulthood, because they've been spoiled in adulthood. But the only time that I can see that a woman really gives a respect to a man, keep an eye on this time here, that's 30, my time's up here just about, or 20 something minutes here. Uh, 30, 35. Well, so I'm just about up here. I wonder if I could get through this one. What was I going to say now? Forgotten what I was going to say now. Something I was going to say. See if I can grab it. I can't figure it out. I can't get it. I've lost it. So what we need then is nudity in the street. And if you know about orthomolecular medicines, is what I'm wanting to get on. If you get syphilis and gonorrhea, they might have antibiotics for it now anyway. But if they haven't, orthomolecular medicine will do it. You have to refer to my other messages on orthomolecular medicine. So so you find that New Zealand will be a very happy country. And so you remember what that sexologist said? He said that those who enjoyed a romp in the raw were usually easygoing. And if you had it just in the raw, but if you had it normal, be so happy. And then that might dissolve some of the woman's problems, like their spoiltness, and that if they walk naked, and if they walk naked, you could say, well, you can walk naked, but you can't claim, as long as he does it correctly, you can't claim a rape charge, you can't claim molesting, or groping, or kissing on the lips, yeah. You can't claim that if you go naked. It's not being fair on the guys otherwise. But the guys are not allowed to hurt you. But then on the other hand, there could be teething problems. For example, if say an ugly guy kissed her on the lips, well then what's going to happen? They don't usually like an ugly guy. So there's these teething problems about it all, but we could iron them out as we go along, and you'll find that that if that got underway around New Zealand, it would really really help. And as far as this Delta thing is concerned, as I've mentioned in just a recent video, that's a piece of cake, of course, to orthomolecular medicine. So you really need to keep up with me with my videos. Or we're at 33 minutes or something, 32. So I'll just have to close in a minute. So, because it's got to be under 40 minutes or so, because my friend can't find it if it's over 40 minutes, but if it's in the 30s, he can find it. So anyway, so that's I'm out of time now. So therefore, this is what we need, and it'll bring a lot of money in for tourists. Because you see, I'm working on now getting rid of this virus here by orthomolecular medicine, but I've got to see. I'm going to go to the radio stations, see reps, get it over, and then see Baby Jace. That's of course the Prime Minister, and we've got to knock out this bloody virus altogether. Delta, easy to orthomolecular medicine, but it's very difficult to get a hold of these people. So looks like my time's about up here, 33 minutes or something. So and then the tourist industry, once we can get rid of this Delta thing and that, it's fucking the country up. There's more people dying, probably as a result of it, because they said that in the paper a while back that about 600 people are in danger of dying of cancer because of the lockdown, because they can't get treatment because of the lockdown. And there's been 2 or 3 murders, it looks like, as a result of the lockdown, or at least 2 or 3 deaths. The person's going to die anyway if the partner punched her just in anger. He didn't mean to kill her, or he threw her against the wall, didn't mean to kill her, he was just angry with her. But they can die very easily, a woman, just a push against the wall, and they can be dead. It's very dangerous to punch a woman. Some of them are very weak. One girl there was pushed up against the ANZ bank in Courtenay Place. There used to be an ANZ there. There's a Welly thing there now called Welly, thing in connection with Wellington. Interesting place there at the moment. But she threw her friend up against this big glass window, which used to be the ANZ in Courtenay Place, Wellington, and it took that girl's breath away by 70%. She nearly died of it. Yet her friend just didn't take any notice. She must have been drunk when she did it. And so it doesn't take much to hurt to even kill a woman. And so that's probably what's happened. We probably have at least 2 or 3 people who've been killed or died as a result of this lockdown. And people are dying overseas because World Vision and that don't get the money. They die still of hunger overseas. They die of malnutrition. They're dying of all sorts of things overseas. They need so much help. So if we're not going to work so much, they won't get the money from World Vision and that so much. So that's another thing to consider. Well, I'm afraid about my time's just about up, so I better close now, and I might put on another video today. I'll see how I go. But in the meantime, and then I'll sign off. This is Colin signing off. I just got lack of time, so I'll sign off for now. So Colin signing off for now. So bye for now.